Wish me luck. For the first year of A-level dance, and I think for my Gcse dance, I did a lot of my writing just on scrap bits of paper, but I found that didn't really work for me because I would always lose my scrap bits of paper, especially if I forgot to put them in my folder, because I was like, oh, I'll just put them in my folder later, and then they get mixed up with all my other college work or all of my other high school work. I was like, where is that sheet of paper that I needed that I wrote like 3 months ago, and I can't find it because it's probably scrumpled up in a bin somewhere. So I got myself one of these books. Aww. And this is where I would just write down what the teacher dictated to us in class, or what she was trying to get us like to engage in her PowerPoint with. Anything that I found useful from those sorts of things, I would write straight down into here. It isn't the neatest thing, as you can see. A lot of this is just like, but that's okay because it's just like the first time you're going through it and the first time you try to just get it into your noggin. Part 2, done the class. Wrote all my notes down, sort of a little bit in my head. Usually either at the end of the day or later on during the week, I would go back to my notes and I would try and put that into some type of revision material that I could use later on. So this mainly came under, for me, 2 major things: my Bibles and my movement grids. My Bibles was where I put everything that I could ever possibly want to know about any choreographer. I start off with just some basic information about Jerome Robbins and a picture when he was choreographing. Then I would do a timeline about their lives, focusing primarily on their childhood, when they were training and when they were working, because that is mostly the stuff that you're probably going to use in essays. I would also have sections for stylistic features and choreographic features, which are 2 separate things. Stylistic being the way the dancers move, i.e. Jerome Robbins dancers use a modern and ballet fusion to create this jazz style of dance. He also has his key movements, like his 90-degree kicks, whereas the choreographic features would be the way that Jerome Robbins would create his dances. This leads nicely on to my next bit, which is influences. So these can be people, these can be like classes that he took, could be his own life, sex, drugs, rock and roll, all that stuff. Other headings could be stuff like works, quotes, music, anything else that you want to, really. My next bit is about movement grids. In our classes, we would often be asked to watch works and then write paragraphs or write movement examples. I would put them immediately into a grid. I had one for every choreographer that I did, as well as having one for Rooster, and I would do multiple works and I'd do multiple examples for each of the works. It's pretty self-explanatory. You put the point in one, the example in the other, and the analysis in the final one. I found this really useful because then I could put in the point section whether this point would work for multiple types of questions. I could clearly see the movement examples that were going to be the best for me to remember. I found that really useful for my retention because I like writing things down and I like being able to look over things a couple of times, and it also just makes it so much more clear for my brain. Writing, retention, and remember. Okay, I'm going to quick fire these out at you. It sounds rubbish, but writing essays is the best way to get better at doing theory, or if you find it difficult to write essays, writing just like a paragraph and doing a timed paragraph. Or another thing that I like to do was just write essay plans. So I'd just go through and I'd bullet point everything that I wanted to make for each one of the questions, and then one day I might go back and actually write it out as a full essay. Anything else that I'd like to do? Read. If you find it difficult to learn the actual content, find books and read about the development of jazz, and find good quotes that you could use in your essays, or find things that you could argue in your essays. Just by reading and retaining and learning as much around the subject as you possibly can is just going to help you during your exams. Hope that was useful for yours.